Okay, this is the Redmi Note 15 Pro 5G. Don't ask me how I know, but you're either thinking this phone looks familiar or this phone looks super gorgeous out in the sun. And guess what? You aren't wrong on both sides. Pretty much truthfully, the entire Redmi Note 15 lineup this year seems to borrow some inspiration from the last generation, particularly in the design segment, which makes it look like different phones in the same body. But I believe the vast majority of us have no problems with that. I mean, you can't just go ahead and ignore how well crafted this phone is, which immediately pushes us to talk about the design. The design, though familiar, is nothing I've ever seen in this color. So quick rundown. So last year I touched the sand gold version of the Note 14 Pro 4G. This year I touched the black version of the base Note 15. And now I'm currently holding what they call the Glacier Blue version of the Note 15 Pro. All these designs look similar, but I'm gonna be honest when I say I side with the Glacier Blue version of the Redmi Note 15 Pro 5G. My bias is everywhere. I mean, the phone itself feels good, like super good, and probably the most rounded and one of the most lightest Redmi I've ever got in my hands on, which of course means better in-hand operational ergonomics. The phone can last periods being operated and you wouldn't be forced to give up because maybe the hand fatigue your mother warned you about from being on your phone too much is starting to kick in. But anyways, back to talking about my color sentiment. Aside from the blue color here, we also got the phone in black, titanium and mist purple. The phone looks super clean and gorgeous, and this body finish never fails to shine no matter what time of the day. The phone doesn't exactly look 100% blue, especially when in darker spots. It is more of a lighter variation of the color, which is why by tilting the phone in different directions, it unlocks different shades of blue, as with the perks of having devices in brighter tones. For people often worried about quad camera layouts like this, the one of this device looks more minimal in person and doesn't really create a big difference when you rest your phone on a surface or when you use it. Naturally, your fingers align perfectly under the trimmed module, which makes it even less noticeable and unobtrusive in your daily experience. I think we're starting to glaze too much, but I want to hear your thoughts on this design. The phone carries a 6.83-inch flat display. The display has made me question Xiaomi's intention. Not for the quality, not for any issues at all, but why flat? I mean, with the last generation, we got the curved panel in the Pro for the first time after saying it belonged on the Pro Plus for too long. And this year, they hit us by giving the base version the curved display, which I well acknowledged as an upgrade in that segment. But now the Pro has been defaulted back to a flat display, while the Pro Plus itself sees an upgrade with the quad curvature style for the panel. It's almost safe to say only the Pro was left out this year, by reason of specs of course, but for convenience, I believe the Pro is just for me and others like me who are free to join. You see, I've used curved displays long enough to finally decide to stick with the flatter ones. I've passed what I like to call the dopamine stages. I've finally clearly decided for myself that I like to remain with flat displays sentimentally for the convenience, durability and overall ease. Should I even mention you find accessories for a flat display way easier? I understand some might prefer otherwise, but for someone who prioritizes convenience, the Pro this year has set the pace. The display is AMOLED as expected, with other features like a maximum 120Hz refresh rate, HDR10+, Dolby Vision, 68 billion colors and 3200 nits of maximum brightness, which is reflected when outdoors. For my part of the world, the display is versatile and ultimately useful for any time of the day. Only a little difference separates it from most sunny conditions since it starts casting reflections and shadows around the screen. But like you can see, it's still humanly visible, just a little less on comfort. On-screen content here looks really good, the same you would get for any proper OLED phone today. Browsing and general navigation is seamless thanks to the high refresh rate. Movies and social media content appear balanced and vibrant when watching in general indoor and less harsh external conditions. Color reproduction looks good and accurate from what I can see. So for entertainment, this one earns the check pass in the most ways. Just like every other addition in this series, the Redmi Note 15 Pro 5G runs HyperOS 2.0 based on Android 15 outside of the package, and even currently, it's still the latest version available. For someone already using HyperOS 3 on my primary device, it can be quite the effort trying to get used to the other version again because everything on version 3 just looks good, better and improved. But still, version 2.0 fulfills everything you need for a device on a surface level without desiring too much. The UI feels friendly even for a newcomer, particularly if you find it hard to get used to the blind control icons like me. When I started, you can easily turn on the icon labels when you press on edit. And just like that, you make functions less difficult to identify. The app open and exit plays nice with the pace and animation. For a mid-range, it responds considerably okay and fine. My variant comes with 8 GB of RAM along with expansion possibility, but I'd rather just stay with what's given. And so far, multiple apps work simultaneously well in the background while the phone is still, in normal functioning temperature. Majority of the software features are shared with the base Note 15, which I reviewed prior, so I think you should check that out. Majority I said, but the lock screen on the Pro gets a taste of what's on the flagships. So the lock screen personalization feature on Xiaomi phones allows you to customize your lock screen display from a range of available templates, either with the default or a new image. Unlike the base version, you get a few lock styles that allow for depth effects on here, and I'm a fan of these. There are other things you can tweak here like icons and always on display. The optical fingerprint sensor here responds fine based on my initial experience. Majority of times, you need just a single click to unlock, and if you ever feel the animation is bland, there are some aesthetic effects you can apply in these settings. The device comes working with a MediaTek Dimensity 7400 Ultra 5G chipset, a different move by Xiaomi since the base version had a Snapdragon and the higher Pro Plus also gets a Snapdragon. But does that matter? Of course, not by any chance when we're talking of raw performance, but the market might say otherwise. MediaTek processors have historically gotten mixed reactions because most people on belief just prefer the Snapdragon lineup. It's reasonable to say MediaTek fell short on expectations with some older chipsets, more particularly with the older Helio series. But talking Dimensity, the Dimensity series has been MediaTek's push into more competitive territory with every Snapdragon counterpart of the same release cycle. The 7400 Ultra present on the Note 15 Pro 5G represents as one of their good mid-range offerings. The processor allows operations to flow smoothly around the device, and when we talk about where it's tested, which is gaming of course, it anchors the experience even further. The most common and popular games you can think of are much compatible with the phone. What even blew my expectations was seeing the recently ported Tomb Raider mobile function on the device, a game I thought belonged to the higher ranks in the processor department. And it's not just one of those times something works but makes the experience miserable. That's not it with the Note 15 Pro 5G. I've constantly been playing the game over and over and I validate that it actually runs properly, like smoothly. Just try to keep the device in normal temperature because lags eventually creep in after some time of burning out. Call of Duty Mobile, Asphalt Legends, to name a few, are all enjoyable. Do I need to stress about Genshin Impact? Well, you know the obvious conclusion. With a volume boost of up to 400%, here is how it sounds. To see more on the extensive experience, there is a dedicated long gaming video on the channel. The device gets a 6580 mAh massive battery, which is quite the gap from the base variant. In today's world, this is inarguably in the top mentions for devices with the biggest batteries. The silicon carbon battery tech here is responsible for this much capacity fitted into a compact phone without compromising either factor. Battery life is pretty normal, even though I'm trying hard to justify the larger capacity in comparison to other phones I've used recently. It all just feels the same. Maybe the software could use a little bit of optimization in a future update. You are getting a day's worth of energy here if you're going to be constantly touching and doing something on your phone, like scrolling the web or using it for work. And for my dear gamers, battery life is reasonable as well. So last evening, I played Tomb Raider Mobile for a good 38 minutes while consuming just 9% of the available battery. For a somewhat demanding game, does that make the cut for you? Let me know. It is rechargeable with a 45-watt fast charging brick, which is the same speed as the standard version. Same speed, different batteries, so like an hour and some additional minutes gets you full. For the cameras, we get the same quad setup with 2 functional lenses, while everything else exists just for occupying space. It sports a main 200 megapixel camera, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide and a 20 megapixel selfie on the front. After shooting with the Redmi Note 15 Pro 5G in recent days, the camera has proven itself capable in most situations. The 200 megapixel main sensor delivers natural, sharp, detailed photos in good lighting. Colors are particularly accurate in proper condition without being dull. Just like we saw last time with the 108 megapixel on the Note 15, the 200 megapixel here carries on what has already been done. Some phones push colors too far in an attempt to make photos look better than they are in real life, but that often results in images that look artificial. For the Redmi Note 15 Pro 5G, these sample photos represent typical outdoor shooting scenarios just the way they are, and everything just looks balanced and well processed. But of course, there's also a setback with handling scenes as they are. In more brighter day conditions, pictures can appear too exposed and make such a good camera produce underwhelming results. It also proves capable in capturing up-close shots, and just like you can see, more details are preserved. Selfies aren't perfect here. I feel it could use a lot of improvement. It doesn't do a great job at representing darker skin tones, and most of the time you see shadows over subjects or some overexposed areas around the photograph. Low light is pretty decent as well, but maybe we could use a little bit of help too. The 8 megapixel ultra-wide stands out just as well as the base version. I find the results appealing and quite useful for the average user. Finally, the moment of truth. You see this phone right here, the Redmi Note 15 Pro 5G. In the perspective of someone searching for a new phone, I'd consider it specifically as a lover of the Redmi Note who really can't afford the Pro Plus but still desires a similar value offering. I mean, it gets most of the same features as its higher sibling, like same display, same 200 megapixel main sensor, 4K recording and so much more. It's like a little step from the Pro Plus but still keeps the important features intact. And also, of course, if you prefer to use the only phone in the series with a flat display, the Redmi Note 15 Pro 5G is your best bet. So, what do you think about this new phone? See you on the next one.